Welcome to another unit in this Excel course. This time I'm going to talk about how in the context of pivot tables we can use the so-called timeline function. For this, first off, we need to have, as here, either a time or a date variable which is introduced into our pivot table. So here I have a variable which actually gives for years, quarters, month, the corresponding date. So I have a date variable. If I click on Analyze, then here with filters, I have slicers, discussed in a different unit, and so-called timelines. If I click on timelines, he shows me those variables which actually apply or are able for this. That's the application date and the duration. And the duration was the time variable. Application was a date variable. So let's check out both. So if I go with application, you see here I have from beginning to end. So in this case, starting date January 19 till December 20, even though you see here there's one there, there's no one here. So he fills the whole year. So as soon as I have someone from 2019, I will get the whole year from January till December. And well, here you directly see how this can work. I can select a certain period of time and he will display all the corresponding people who actually wrote the exam during their time. If I want to enlarge this, I can just hold down Shift and click there. What I see if I hold down my Command key, that's what I do here, it's no longer possible to do what I did with the slicer so that I can select 2 months together. So like May and March, that's not possible. So they always need to be connected. So if I want to do something else, I have to go back to the filters here. So that's not possible in this context. However, what I can do instead is here I have a month. So I could also go to quarters or to days or even to years. So I have different time horizons which I can use in this context. In this context, I just entered a variable containing the date. So he automatically translates this into years, quarters, month, and days. Okay, this was the date variable I used. With the duration, I actually had a time variable. And here you see the first problem. If I use the timeline, he interprets this as a date. So while I might have the idea that a timeline should work similarly for time and date data, in particular since it does if I use the filters, this is not the case if I use the timeline. So what I would recommend is if you have time data, always use the filters directly related to the pivot table. If you have actual dates or month, then use the timeline and only then use the timeline. And well, that's done already all I wanted to tell you in the context of using timelines. So I hope you enjoyed listening to it. And if you want to see additional insights on Excel or on pivot tables, feel free to visit the rest of the course or have a look at the corresponding playlist. I say goodbye and see you next time.